Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Toni Morrison,
Here.
Christopher Palmieri,
Here.
Jack Perry,
Here.
Jennifer Clock,
Jen Clock? Hey, Jen, are you on mute still? She was on. Hi, Jen, can you hear us? We'll try again. Val, you're remote, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Maybe Jen got cut off.
Yeah. We'll check again.
continue. Okay, Michael Del Santo,
Present.
Valerie DiPaolo,
Here?
William Dietzick,
Here.
James Morelli,
Here.
Paul Chaplinsky,
Here, and Jen Clock, if you can, oh, there she goes. Jen, was that you?
Yes, I just got dropped. I'm here now.
Okay, thanks, Jen. So we have all nine. Can we please all stand for the prayer and the flag salute?
Heavenly Father, we ask that you would remind us always that we serve the people of Southington first and not party affiliation or vain ambition. We ask that you would keep us from conflicts of conscience and dilemmas of ethics. May you continue to bless this community and her people. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're moving on to item 2. We're looking for a motion to move into executive session, including the town manager, the assistant town attorney, and Attorney Michaels and Attorney Gerard regarding pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Sorry, guys. Are the remote participants in favor?
Aye, yes.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion passes unanimously. We're going to go into executive session. We will not restart the meeting before 7:30 for anybody who's watching or here present. We will be in executive session for an unknown amount of time, but if we finish early, we will recess the meeting until at least 7:30, okay? Thank you. All right.
Lucky we had a short meeting tonight.
Yeah. Val and Jen, we're just waiting for Jack to come back. (8:19 p.m.) This is the Town Council meeting of Monday, July 14th. We have just finished executive session, for which we concluded the executive session at 8:15. There was a few minutes recess for some bio breaks, and there were no votes taken in executive session. And we are now back in open session here at 8:19 p.m. Coming out of executive session, we're looking to
Yeah.
add an agenda item, Mr.
Sure, I'd
President?
like to make a motion to add an agenda item. Let's see, it would be
It'll be item 3, please.
item 3. Motion to add discussion in action regarding Sign Pro litigation.
We have a motion to add an agenda item. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from the vice chair. Any discussion on adding an agenda item as outlined? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes unanimously to add item 3 onto the agenda. Mike, can I have the proper wording of the agenda item, just so I can reread it?
Yeah, it's on the bottom.
Okay. So we're now going to move into item 3, the discussion and decision on Sign Pro litigation. On the motion, right?
Right.
Okay. So item 3.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the town of Southington
Just
agree.
speak nice and loud into the.
Oh, sorry. I'd like to make a motion that the town of Southington agrees to indemnify all individuals named in the Sign Pro versus the town of Southington et al. Lawsuit, and to provide legal counsel to these individuals to support the defense of their personal reputation if they desire, and to advise them on any other issues needed to the Sign Pro litigation.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second from the vice chair, Mr. Morelli, and the floor is open for discussion. Any discussion from the motioner?
Mr. Chair, I'm going to be in favor of this tonight. I think it's the right thing to do. I think if any of us were in this situation, I would expect all of us to support each other up on this dais.
Okay. Any other discussion points? Jack?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, I think it's important to highlight that all of us as council members are protected currently with this lawsuit, long as it's within our duties and our rights, and long as there's no malice. I think it's pretty straightforward that if nothing was done wrong, I don't know why we are personally going to back somebody if they did something intentionally outside of their council authority or duties. Also, it's kind of rushing it, and I just can't support it this evening.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, so picture yourself, right? You're a volunteer in any capacity, and you get served with a federal lawsuit. There can be protections out there under state law, but you need a lawyer or somebody to interpret those protections for you. You don't know, you might think you should call your homeowner's insurance, and maybe they're gonna provide, what this does is just gives certainty to volunteers who volunteer their time for the town, who are literally sued in a federal lawsuit. There might be protections out there, but it gives them the certainty when they go home and go to bed at night that I'm gonna be protected, I'm okay. And one thing too, you gotta remember, think about the chilling effect this would have on someone willing to serve in their capacity as a volunteer. I wanna help my community, I wanna serve, oh, and by the way, I'm exposing myself to a federal lawsuit the day I get elected. I think what it does, it shows from our perspective as a town and as a body that we're gonna protect our volunteers and protect our employees, so I would support this motion.
Anybody else? Chris?
Just to give the public some perspective of timing, depositions have gone on in this case, and to Bill's point, individual names have been given as part of this, and new names were recently added to this lawsuit. So I see both sides, but it's frustrating when we know that individuals are acting in their capacity as town officials, whether they be volunteers or town employees, and they're trying to act in the best interest of the town, and in their official capacity, that they should be protected. So again, in light of recent additions of names to this lawsuit, I do think it's important to do this.
Anybody else?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'd like to just kind of,
Hold on one second. Jack, I'm going to allow Val to go first since she hasn't been heard yet. Go ahead, Val.
So I will support the motion as well. I just want to make it clear that we are only indemnifying with the people that have already been named. So we're well aware of the depositions that have been taken and the information that's out there. And I agree with Bill wholeheartedly that personal lawsuits can not only hurt a family financially, just the emotional impact, the emotional distress of having to go through a personal lawsuit, it can be devastating to someone or to their family. So I think we're protecting people that are volunteering above and beyond, for the personal liability. So I will support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, Val, thanks. Is there anybody else that would like to speak for the first time? Jen, do we still have you online? Just checking.
I'm here.
Okay. Jack, floor is yours.
so, I agree that, anything that we do within our official capacity, we should be, stood behind, especially since we're volunteers. But, at the same time, if somebody does something outside their official capacity, I don't think that we should be, as a town, making taxpayers kind of back that. If no malice was done, then they're protected. And also, I think it's important to highlight that, like Mr. Palmieri stated, that two others were named, which is Alex and Paul, and now we're doing this. We had our former chair that was named, our former town manager, and a building official. And now the town is doing it. It just does not look good and reflect good on our town.
Anybody else?
So,
Oh, sorry, go
no, go ahead.
Tony, go ahead.
No, I really take exception to that. It looks good because we are protecting people who do not deserve to be in this position. And if you're in this position, councillor, I would do the same thing for you.
Bill?
Yeah, Jack, let's just play it out. How do you know that there's not a motion to add you as a defendant to this lawsuit? You've borrowed commercial money, right? When you take a loan from a bank, one of the questions asked on there, are you involved in a litigation? You'd have to disclose this. You know how much cleaner it'll be for your personal business, acting as a volunteer, to show this vote tonight, to show the bank, look, this is nothing, I'm covered, versus them having to talk to an underwriter and figure it themselves out. That's really what we're doing for them, is we're just making their lives simpler in acknowledging that they're volunteers. Because I would do the same for you, Jack. I mean, you're a businessman. I wouldn't want you to get jammed up in your personal business because of a federal lawsuit naming you in your capacity as a volunteer. I think we owe them the same courtesy.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none. Anybody else? Last one? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
No.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes?
Dietzick,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
The chair abstains. The motion passes 7-1-0. 7-1. 7-1-1, yeah, my apologies. 7-1-1. 7-1-1 abstention. Okay, moving on to item 4. We're looking for a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 23rd Town Council meeting.
We have a motion on the floor for June 23rd minutes.
Second.
We have a second for Mr. Del Santo. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any,
Well, I need to abstain.
okay, any opposed? Okay, we have one abstention from Councilwoman DiPaolo, so the motion is 8-0-1. Did I get that right, Mike?
Listen, I
Okay.
graduated, not with honors.
All right, then item 5, councilperson communications. Jen, since you're remote, I know there was something you wanted to talk about with the POCD, so you want to lead us off?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So at the last meeting, I did announce that we were going to have our Plan of Conservation and Development survey, and that is now live as of last Monday. Please go online to the town website. The link is posted. It's right on the landing page. You can just click on it. It will take about 10 to 15 minutes, but this is all very important feedback for our plan for the next 10 years. There's also flyers in the town hall and municipal center, and we have distributed it on social media as well. So I am happy to say we already have almost 300 responses, which is wonderful in our first week. So way to go, Southington. Take
Excellent.
the survey if you have not taken it.
Awesome, thanks for the heads up on the POCD survey. And Jen, I don't know if you mentioned it, tell us again, where can we find the link?
If you go to the town website, it's right on the landing page of the Town of Southington website.
On the landing page, perfect. Okay, thank you, Jen. Anybody else during Councilmatic?
Yep.
Tony?
I got a couple of things. The first thing, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Chamber of Commerce and their Restaurant Week, which they're doing from the 14th to the 20th. And they do this, obviously they've done this before, but they have 35 restaurants that have signed up to do essentially, special deals, special menu items for everybody this week who'll come and support them. I'd like to put this into the minutes. It's got a QR code on it that people can, access the QR code. They can look at the restaurants that are doing this. And I'd just like to say the restaurants cover the entire area of Sullington, from Milldale to Plantsville to all the rest of Sullington. So it's comprehensive, but you can get the QR code, you can look at the menus and the restaurants that are doing it, and hopefully you'll come and support our restaurants this week.
Thank you, Tony. We'll pass that in for the record. Anybody else? Oh, sorry, Tony.
Yeah, just a quick one. We're not going to talk about this tonight, but was asked last time to come up with some names for the Southington America 250 Committee, the celebration of our country's founding next year. And the idea is to have an umbrella committee over various organizations and capabilities in town that will be doing things throughout the year. I've called several people who've signed up to be part of it. We need to get the names first, and then we'll come up with the actual organization of the committee and the work that will be done, in the whole of next year. I'll pass out these names now to everybody on the dais. I'll text them to Jen and Val sometime tonight, okay, guys? There's a couple of things. There are two placeholders on this. One is for the American Legion and one is for the schools. Those names haven't been identified yet, but people have said they will essentially come up with a name for us. So if you can, obviously we'll talk about this in more detail at the next meeting. And if you pass those along. If there's any questions now, ask me. Otherwise, we'll obviously discuss it in a lot more detail next month.
Excellent. Any questions on the America's 250? Looks like the
usual
shaping up the
suspects.
committee is coming together. That's really great. And I think, Alex, we could talk about it. I think it would be good if we asked the recreation director to have some input here as well and maybe be on the committee. I think from a town staff perspective, it's going to be important to have our rec director, who's very active in the community already with a lot of activities like this. I think would be really good to get the support from there, if you agree.
Absolutely.
Anybody else during Councilmatic communications? Jack?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So first, I want to start off with thanking the town manager. Me and him had a meeting, I think it was last week, or the week before, actually. Days are blending at this point for me. So we met, and, I appreciate, he extended the invite to meet over at Memorial Park in Southington here. And, there's a new program I found out, which is the Yeti program, which I think is an awesome program for, students, kids that are going, I believe they're going from middle school into high school. So they're like young adults, kind of grooming them, with a nice work ethic and doing community activities around Southington. So I want to thank the town manager for obviously supporting that program. And I would love for him to maybe do a presentation for the entire council so everybody could understand what that program is and what the benefits are. It's something with our youth, and, I know right now that they're not really, funded well, but it's something to look at, and I know right now they have small dollars, which, they're stretching, which is great, but, I'd love to see that program, enhanced and made bigger, just so that, kids during the summer months, they have something to do if they don't want to go to camp, and it allows, them to stay productive in the community and not get in any trouble. So it's a great program. And then secondly, reach out to the town manager's office. I think it was Friday. I apologize again. We have a newborn at home, so days are blending at this point for me. I think it was Friday. I reached out to the town manager's office in regards to an Instagram post that was shared to me by a resident that at Crescent Lake that we have dequat being put in our body of water, and they found dead turtles. And then, the promoter was also trying to promote a detox regimen, which I think was just all misleading, trying to sell a product to Southington residents. So I want to thank the town manager and Dave LaPrey for reaching out to DEEP to reassure that that's not happening in Southington. There's no permit pulled, and it was false information that was starting to get the community, up in arms. And this is a bigger issue, but, that we, as a state and at a town, we should kind of, stand with and kind of fight. But at the same time, I don't think there's any point of fearing residents when it's not happening here for a sales pitch for a product. So I want to appreciate, Dave LaPrey and Alex for going over and beyond. And I think it even turned into after hours replying. I think it was Saturday morning that Dave replied that he heard back from DEEP and that it was not, true. So I want to just thank them for that.
Mr. Chair.
All set?
Yeah,
Mike.
thank you.
I did not know, Jack. Congratulations on the newborn. Good
Thank
stuff. If you thought it was bad with one, with no sleep, just wait.
I heard it gets harder when you're outnumbered. So right
That's
now
it.
we're not
You're
outnumbered.
in big trouble.
So we're good.
Congratulations. I did not know that. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilman, Chris?
Just two quick things. I had the pleasure of attending the Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Sean O'Sullivan on Saturday, June 28th. The council presented a citation to Sean. Sean, if you remember, is, for his Eagle Scout project, built the chicken coop for DePaulo Middle School, which is located on the Pleasant Street open space property that we have. So just congratulations to Sean, and thanks to the council for presenting him with a council citation. And just announcement, to remind everyone, the Italian Festival will take place from July 25th to the 27th, that weekend. The July 25th starts at 5 p.m. The 26th, which is a Saturday, starts at 1 p.m. And the 27th, which is a Sunday, festival starts at noon on Lower Center Street. Just a reminder to everyone.
And it wasn't on the original agenda, but there will be an Italian mass that morning, time to be announced, but it will be on subsequent agendas. There will be a mass that Sunday morning.
10 a.m.
10
Monday
a.m.
morning,
Thank
yes.
you. Okay. Anybody else during council person communications? Okay, hearing none. Item 6, report of special committees.
Mr. Chair, we had,
Strike.
sure,
Sorry.
we had our strike
Jumping
committee
the gun.
meeting on June 26th with one item. The developer is interested in possibly adding 3 industrial buildings up on West Street behind the Cava property. So he brought it to the strike committee to see the feasibility of possibly changing part of the zone, which is now the West Street Business Zone. Just a couple of details. 3 buildings, one would be about 1 million square feet. The other 2 buildings around 250,000 and 210,000 square feet. The strike committee gave a unanimous decision to send it back to planning and zoning, where they'll now attempt to go ahead and try to change the zone so those buildings may come to fruition. As you know, traffic is pretty bad up on West Street, so there are plans in place to make sure that this stubs out to across from Welch Road to try to be as least disruptive as possible. So it's pretty exciting. It could be a very good potential tax increase to that property than what we're getting right now for just raw land. So we're pretty excited about it. Hopefully it all works out, and more to follow on that.
Any questions on the strike committee?
Did I miss anything, Jack or Chris or Tony?
Jack.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of, just explain, the impacts on that, on the community. There would be hundreds of jobs, created by this, coming to Southington, patrons for Southington. So, we'd have hundreds of, new vehicles, I guess, coming through town. But at the same time, they are held to a standard through the state that the quality of traffic can't get worse. So if West Street was rated as a C, it needs to maintain as a C. So if it means them putting roads in or adding on to the roads, expanding and all that, that would be all on the developer. So, if I remember correctly, this may be $170 million project all said and done. So I think this is something for Southington to be proud of, and it wouldn't have, I feel, a negative impact. I think it'd have a positive impact for the taxpayers by them bringing in millions of tax dollars, as well as creating jobs and helping small businesses with the new patrons that would be coming to town.
Okay, Tony? All set?
Yeah, I'm fine, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions on strike or comments? Okay, item B, thank you, Mr. Del Santo. Item B, Public Works.
Okay, thank you. We had our meeting on Wednesday, July 2nd. I know there has been some kerfuffle on the social media sites about the young children riding their bicycles on the trail and possibly disrupting traffic. So we discussed it with the chief, and the chief absolutely knows what's going on. It's a high priority for them right now. He had said that there have been arrests, and he said the biggest difficulty right now is some of the parents of these children who are given some significant pushback. But the police are aware. They've been educating children. They're stopping children from not wearing helmets. So it's absolutely on their radar, and they're working on coming to some sort of a resolution so this does not continue to occur. Discussion came up recently over the last couple of weeks about Southington participating in a hazardous waste collection in the town of Bristol. We discussed I guess this is a new way of charging folks, and we asked Mr. Norris to look into it further if this is in fact the way that it's going to go. Right now, the town of Southington would be responsible for paying for the stuff that is brought to the collection, but from what I've gathered is that it's $60 for a car and $100 for a truck, regardless of the quantity delivered. So if you show up in a car with 1 gallon of paint, it's $60. If you show up in a car with 10 gallons of paint, it's $60. That's just not cost feasible. I don't think that's a good deal for Southington taxpayers. So we're looking into it. There may be other options. There may be another event that we can have to try to collect this information, so more to follow on that. This Bristol option, I believe, was in the fall anyway. So yeah, it's in November, so we have some time to discuss it at subsequent Public Works meetings.
Excellent.
We had to push back the start of the roads because of the 58 days of rain that we had in a row. So they are, they're doing all the pre-work right now, and then hopefully on July 28th, the milling and the paving will begin. Lastly, the Southington Water Department, Doug Arndt was there. We discussed the pamphlet that went out to the town residents about the quality of Southington water. Doug gave a pretty scientific answer. Now, I understood it all, but I don't want to bore all you guys with the information he provided at the meeting. So he did say if anyone has questions, they can contact the water department and ask to speak with Doug Arndt, who is the superintendent, or Al Fiorillo, the assistant superintendent. They have all the answers for you. It's Doug reported that Southington quality is fine. The pamphlet is a little hard to understand, but they're mandated to send those pamphlets out, and he knows they are confusing. So if you have questions, contact him. Either of those gentlemen, their information could be found on the Town of Southington website, Town of Southington Water Department website. And I want to thank the Southington Police and the Highway Department and Mr. Merrick, who was called in for a water main break in front of the library a couple of weeks ago. Some folks in the area lost water, but only for a short amount of time. They had the road repaired and back up within 24 hours. Unfortunately, it wasn't a main break. It was a valve break. It wasn't a main, it was a valve, and the valve was only put in 1993. So Doug is pretty concerned. I guess they put about 10 of those valves in 1993, and something to do with the vibration and the movement of the earth. Once again, I understood it all, but it was very scientific. But he said that they may preemptively dig up some of those other valves and replace them so it doesn't happen again. It was a wallop of a leak. I mean, the patch in the road is huge. So everyone did a great job. It was less than 24 hours, the road was back open. So I want to applaud, like I said, the Highway Department and the Southern Police Department and the public. The public was very concerned. They went down there, they had questions. We were getting information because I was affected by it. We lost a little bit of water. So it was restored. We only lost water for about 45 minutes, which was incredible. So great job to all involved. And Mr. Chair, that's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council on Public Works? Okay, thanks, Mike. Hearing none. Item C, Apple Harvest. Chris.
Sure. The committee met on July 9th, last Wednesday, and we are finalizing plans for the upcoming festival this fall. Right now, as of right now, our food vendors are sold out, so we have some new vendors and many returning vendors coming back for the festival in 2025. Our arts and craft fair, to date, we have 35 registered vendors. We're still looking for any crafters, if they're interested, can still register for that. Early shout out to our sponsors. To date, we have $27,955 in sponsorship secured, so thank you to all our sponsors. And the last item that we voted on was, I believe, our last RFP that was put out, which was for fireworks. We did reach out to our company from last year. As you know, many of the contracts we maintained because they maintained the price, but the prices could not be maintained with the tariffs, so the fireworks cost did go up. However, I'm pleased to announce we did award the contract back to Pyrotechnico, who has been our fireworks vendor for the past several years. They ended up being a low bidder after all. So congratulations to them, and we look forward to working with them again.
Any questions on apple harvest? Can taste the fritters already. Let's go. All right, item D, sewer. Tony?
Yeah, I had a meeting last week. There's not much really to report. A couple of things, though. There's a manhole project that's going to start up, which is the manhole remediation repair. We do it every year based on. Sorry, we do it every year based on based on a repair list that identifies the worst ones that need to be done, and that will happen. So you'll see people around in the summer working on manholes, and that's what that's all about. Second thing, there was an item of new business where there's a company that's called ICU Medical. They run the old Ethicon Endosurgery Inc. Thing on West Queen Street, and they have a wastewater discharge approval. And essentially what that is they're allowed to run wastewater off into essentially the sewer system. The sewer plant cleans it and puts it out into the Quinnipiac River as clean as everything else that comes out. They wanted an extension for the next year to coincide with the state of Connecticut's general permit for groundwater remediation. We voted to send it to this body, and it will be on the agenda next month, essentially to review it and approve it. And that's it.
Any questions on sewer? Okay, hearing none. Item E, open space. Jen?
Yes, we had our meeting Thursday, July 10th. Just an update on Pleasant Street. We've been kind of talking about this, but it's really becoming a booming center for farming in our town. We have our community gardens where 14 residents are growing vegetables right there on the property. We have chickens, and a huge thank you to Councilperson Palmieri, because he goes daily to care for the chicks. So thank you, Chris. We have a farm stand that's going to be run by DePaulo students, and then coming soon, which we'll hear more about in the coming months, our Ag Sci Barn will be starting construction. So it's really becoming quite a beautiful enhancement of that property. And then in the fall, we plan to have a hike to celebrate the new footbridge over at the Novik parcel. That's it.
Thank you, Jen. Any questions on open space? And I think we have the open space ordinance under the town manager's report, so we'll hear more about that in a little bit. Any other questions on open space? Okay, hearing none, we're done with the report of special committees. We'll move on to item 7, town manager's report and communications. Item A, the bond ordinance introductions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's 2 ordinances that are going to be proposed on this coming fall's referendum calendar. The first is ordinance for issuing the bonds of $6,617,400 for costs related to 3 elementary school roofs. I see Mr. Medancy is here from the superintendent of schools. If you'd like to say a couple words about those roofs.
Shingles, and nails.
Welcome
Ladders.
to the superintendent with the new contract. Glad to see you're staying for a while.
Good evening, thank you. So the ordinance before you this evening is for, as Mr. Ricardone said, it's for the Hatton Elementary School roof that was installed in 90s. It's in 2 parts. That roof was installed in 96 and 2003. Each was warranted for 20 years, and so one of those is 9 years past warranty, and the other is 2 years past warranty. Same with Strong, also two different roofs, essentially, 2 phases to that last replacement, 93 and 2002. So one is 12 years past warranty and the other is 3. And then lastly, Thalberg, which is one roof, but it is 20 years old, installed in 2002, and it is 3 years past warranty. So we're looking to bring those to referendum for the community in the fall so that we can stay on top of our facilities.
And for those who are, who might be looking at the budgets and the capital plans, this was a capital plan item for the following year, but due to referendums next year, potentially, for the school renovations or builds, it was decided to pull this forward to this year so that we're swapping the, we're swapping the capital planning, if you will.
Yep, that's the plan.
I got
Jack.
one quick question. So you mentioned roofs from 93 and then 2002. You know, was there a different technology used or product that the roofs in 93, you know, performed just as good as the ones in 2002? I'm just, you know, if they're in phases, like why isn't the 2002 lasting as long? And then what's the guarantee of the roofs going forward at the 6.6 million?
So in terms of the estimate being reliable, or just in terms of what is the warranty going to be for that price?
Once it's done. Is
I can
it-
get back to you with both of those. I don't have the history on what technique they used 25 years ago. I was probably 20 years old at the time.
I was in diapers.
But I could find out from you, because we do have that information on file from Mr. Amato, and send it over through you to the chair.
Yeah, I'm just curious because, again, an extra 9 years is, I think, substantial, you know, especially if it's a 20-year life expectancy. One, you know, obviously went way past that percentage-wise, so.
Yeah. It is one of those things, though, I mean, as stewards of the buildings, you don't want to play with expired warranties on roofs, because when you start to get into, you know, water issues within the buildings, it creates larger problems. And so we really ideally to stay ahead of or on top of it. I wouldn't be surprised if technology has carried out the warranties to maybe last, whether it's a 25 or 30 roof now, but I don't want to sit here and speak as a roofing expert in front of you. I'd be giving you misinformation.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the superintendent? Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 2, ordinance for open space, Mr. Town Manager.
So this is a proposed $2 million bond referendum this coming fall for open space purchases of fee simple land and development rights. As you know, the town went to referendum and it was supported several years ago. That pot is down to just about $500,000. The Open Space Committee has been very active in their acquisitions. Almost all of the purchases have been unanimous when they've come to the Open Space Committee and the Town Council. So the town is just looking to gauge the public support to see, to restock that war chest in the event that more properties and opportunities come up. It's difficult for the Open Space Committee to approach property owners and try to work out deals if you have to go to referendum for every single purchase. It's much easier for the Open Space Committee to go and negotiate an executive session with a property owner, knowing that they have the funding in place, and then they just need to get it through the approvals at the town council level. So that's what we're looking for over there. Now, both of these ordinances are going to be coming up several times throughout the agenda. It looks like a mistake because they're on so many times, but I assure you they're not. Attorney Matney is going to speak on the planning and zoning part of it, and then I'm going to ask that you send a referral to the Board of Finance for both of these for them to review and send their approvals and the recommendations. And then I'm going to be asking that you schedule a public hearing at your next town council meeting, August 11th, 2025, for both of these bond ordinances if the council chooses to push them forward. If there's no questions.
Any questions for the Town Manager?
Mr. Palmieri, Mr. Chair?
Chris?
Just more of a, not necessarily a question, but more of a statement. The difference with this $2 million for the open space is that it may not necessarily be spent, it's just to have it just in the event. So in other words, there is no open space property that we're looking at right now, which warrants the $2 million, but it does allow the Open Space Committee to move forward with something in the event that something become available.
Correct.
And just remember, the $2 million actually doesn't get bonded, quote unquote, or spent until a property is identified, agreed, and approved in the future. So this is basically arming the Open Space Committee and all of the elected boards to be able to proceed with a purchase that's within the $2 million should they find something. But if they don't find anything, that money is not spent, it's not bonded, it's only bonded once it's agreed upon and voted on in the future. So that could be next year, or it could be 5 years from now.
Mr. Chair, the last item on my report is a quick SAFER grant update from the Sullyton Fire Department. The chief and the assistant chief are both here,
Yes.
ready, willing, and able to give a brief presentation and answer any questions you may have.
Please. Thanks for coming, chiefs. We appreciate it.
Good evening. Just a quick update, as discussed previously. If you recall, the 2020 SAFER grant, at that point in time, the federal parameters, federal funding was 100% for 3 years, including salary and benefits. It also included the ability for us to gauge GWI's cost for.
Thanks. Just for
I'm
the
sorry.
people at home. Thanks.
Also be able to adjust for GWI step raises and certain ancillary costs that come with contractual language as well. The 2024 federal fiscal year, so 2024 grant parameters changed. The percentages now for reimbursement are not 100%. They're 75% for the first year, 75% for the second year, and 35% for the third year. However, those are also stipulated to the wages and benefits are at the rates at time of application for an entry-level firefighter, so there's no adjustment ability for us in the grant process to add in for the GWIs that are pending, as well as potential cost increases to, well, whether it's MERS, FICA, Medicare, et cetera, as those charges go up. Just in comparison, in 2020, our federal grant award was $1,185,527 and some change. This application process is a total of $1,276,911 and no change, shocking enough. However, the federal resources over 3 years totals $787,428 to the town. And over that same 3-year period, the town's cost share at this point is $489,482 and 55 cents. $489.42.55, excuse me. Again, this is over a 3-year period. Looking at the way we structure this in the terms of if and when we're approved and when we activate the grant, the period of performance starts, this actually will go over the course of 4 budget cycles. So it's something that we can actually budget for and adjust for. So fiscal year 25-26, which we're already in the budget for, the cost to the town out of that cost share would be $53,000, which we are confident we can absorb in our current operating budget. And then it's just about the revenue response from the feds at that point in time. We can't get the revenue back until after we spend it. We typically do that on a quarterly basis as well. So again, it's just we don't have the adjustment for the GWIs and stuff and items like that. I'd be happy to answer any further questions, and that's kind of a brief overview. And that's for 3 individuals. I apologize.
And just for an update, I spoke with the chief. We did decide to apply for the grant with the understanding that this is coming to the town council. If the town council decides, because it's above and beyond the budget amount, so even though we agreed to do it, it's over the budget amount, so we need town council approval to formally adopt it. Otherwise, we'd have to pull it back, withdraw our application. But that's why we're here today, just to solidify it for budget purposes, to make sure that the town council's on board.
Any comments by the council? Questions?
I've got questions. So how much difference does this make in terms of actual money to the budget? You mentioned 53K for the first year?
Yep, 50 for fiscal year 25-26, the January to June amount. So in the first year of the grant, so the grant period of performance, what we typically do is we onboard them in January and get them into the budget cycle. They get on the budget cycle then. So the first year, the town cost is $106,409.25. Second year, same amount of money, not inclusive of any potential GWIs for the contract. It's a negotiation now, as well as step raises. I have those figures too, if you'd like them. And the third year of the grant, the town cost is $276,664.05.
And just to confirm that, for each of those years, they basically straddle a couple budget cycles, right? So for the first year, that 106 is actually half of that.
It's half of that, and then you straddle that 106 will actually be solid. And then for the
So those are the extra numbers that we're going to have to we're going to have to add to our budget
Yes, sir.
downstream.
And that's what we did
106,
previously.
106,
What the previous administration had done is they had actually budgeted forward for those items, so it's in the budget, and then the revenue offset was used for, I believe, for other items or just to adjust the salary line item, so.
Okay. Anybody else? Chris?
Just to confirm.
Oh, just a quick
Oh, sorry.
question.
Is it okay? Yeah, Val, please go ahead.
Just a quick question. Can the chief repeat the year one and year two was 75%? What did it drop to in year three?
35%, 3.5.
35, Val.
35.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I'll make an assumption that is, I think because of the pot of money changed for the safe area appropriation from 360 million to about 324 million at the federal level, I think that is to spread the wealth a little bit further across the fire service in general, so.
Okay. Chris?
Yep.
Just a discussion point.
Great.
So
Thank you.
Thank you, Val.
I know we all pretty are unanimous with the need for the fire department. But in the conversations with the town manager, this $50,000, and I think with the chief, you chief as well, the $50,000 is going to be covered within the fire department budget? Okay. Yes.
53.
53,000 is going to be, you're nodding yes.
53,204.63.
The chief has assured me he will make it work within his budget, yes.
Okay.
If you paid attention to my budget this year, and I know you have, I got crafty internally.
Okay,
So-
all right. So again, it's within the fire department budget, so while we weren't anticipating that much of a cost for the SAFER grant, you do still have the amount to cover it in
Correct,
your
yes.
budget. Great. And with that, just knowing this is a federal grant, I worked with the chief and the town manager and reached out to a contact in Congressman Larson's office, so I have a letter of support. I'll add it to the minutes. The letter of support is signed by our Congressman, John Larson, as well as our two U.S. Senators, Richard Blumenthal and Christopher Murphy, in support of the grant for Southington. As the grant has already been submitted, I followed up again asking to reach out directly to the Office of Grant Administration at FEMA to have this letter of support entered into our application packet. So I want to enter it in the record for.
Thanks, Chris.
You're
I
welcome.
also have a letter of support from our state delegation as well. Representatives up in Hartford, I can forward that to the council as well if they'd like.
Yeah, if we can send that. I think we received a copy of that, right, to the town manager? The council received a copy from the entire Southington delegation, so let's put that into the record as well, if the town manager would provide that. We appreciate all the support, from our state and U.S. delegation. It's always very much appreciated.
We appreciate your support, so.
Any other comments or questions for the chiefs? Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much,
Thank you
both
very
of you,
much.
for coming out. We'll take some action on this in a little bit. Mr. Town Manager, anything else on your side?
No, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Okay, we're moving on to item 8, the Town Attorney's Report. Item A, 22 Main Street update to the Assistant Town Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I had very limited warning that I was going to be here today, so I was going to reach out. I would have reached out to their buyer's attorney to give a more formal update, but it is under contract. They have an initial 90 days to seek the contingency approvals that they were seeking. So I believe they're in the process for that. We can certainly get an update as to the status. They do have some initial ability to ask for extensions if they've been diligently pursuing those. But it is under contract, and they are in that approval process right now.
Anything, Town Manager, anything from your side on the update? Okay. Okay, and item B, any questions on 22 Main? Okay. Item B, the 824 referral to planning and zoning for the bond ordinances.
Yeah, so the only report I have to say to those is that we're required to, by the statute, to refer them to planning and zoning for a report. So both of those ordinance need to be referred by an 8-24 referral to get that report.
Excellent. And we do have the 824 referral later in our meeting for action. We'll read all that into the record at that time. Any questions on that for both the bond ordinance for the school roofs and the open space under the town attorney's report? Okay, hearing none, thank you to the assistant town attorney. And we'll move on to item 9, public communications. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mike Ricchio, 124 Andrews Street here in Southington. I came tonight to speak on the open space referendum. I was treated to an hour and a half delay. Thank you. Didn't really know about that was happening, but I understand the topic. I do want to say, Mr. Perry, I'm absolutely disgusted and repulsed by your behavior this evening, that you would ditch your fellow council members for some, I don't even know what it is, some stunt for the next campaign. The fact that you would leave these people high and dry. This isn't the first time this has ever happened. This happened when I was on the council. Of course, you protect the council members and the town staff and the town employees and whoever else is serving. Every year, both parties, Republicans and Democrats, every 2 years, struggle to get people to volunteer. You think we're going to get more volunteers to come out and do good for this community when you put your family's life on the line? It's disgusting. It speaks volumes of your character and even more volumes of your maturity level. Now, for what I came to speak about. The open space referendum is crucial. It's been supported by both parties in this community for years. My wife and I were in Cheshire the other day, and we were shocked that the town of Cheshire, which actually got us started in our open space preservation, they had done the Ives Farm down there years ago, got us started, and they don't appear to be pursuing it, and it's really changing the character of that community. This is kind of twofold, so if you allow me the time here, I know I'm under a time constraint, but we saw what happened this year at the state legislature, and I think the only reason it's not moving forward is because it's an election year for the governor, but the state wants to take over zoning. And if they do, and it'll end up happening is my guess, it's really going to change the way communities look and feel. So it's crucial that we do it. And I would make sure that when you guys, if it's not already cast in stone, I heard that you have development rights, you have purchases, but think of life use, any other ways to preserve land. When you put the ordinance together, make sure that you have it in there so that your hands aren't tied in the future. And Chris stated that, you know, this is for future purchases, and that's good. It's important that the public knows that you're not doing this to buy a specific piece, that it's something that you have for the future as things come along. But I do want to speak about the housing proposals that came down out of Hartford. You know, it's really frustrating for a community like Southington. Since the 1950s, we've had really proper zoning, and many people in this room have served in some capacity in the zoning in this community. We have step zoning like it should happen. You know, the core of your community is where the concentration of housing is, and then it gets less and less dense as you move out. I think Southington is, if not the #1 shining example in the state, it's in the top 10 as far as how to have proper housing. We have housing for everybody in this community. And I shudder when I hear people come up to planning and zoning and say we need more affordable housing and support of affordable housing proposals that are before the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's important that the community understands that when a developer comes in, and I develop, but when a developer comes in for affordable housing application, it's not because they care about affordable housing, okay? It's because they want to make more profit on that piece of property and get more units in there. So we have to be careful about that, and we have to be careful as the state moves forward. But in Southington, we have multifamily houses, hundreds of them, that are affordable. We have mobile home parks that are beautiful. They just changed hands a few years ago. They're beautiful. We have apartments, buildings of all different sizes. We have public senior housing. We have private subsidized housing like Wheeler Village. We have subsidized apartments on Darling Street. We have, we just created a new thing for housing above retail up on Queen Street. Our downtowns allow for residential over retail. And then we have small housing like you see on Berlin Street, right, from, you know, after World War II, and then you get out to the outskirts of town and it's much larger. We have an amazing housing stock here in Southington, and Mr. Chairman, this is my formal request to ask that we, and I don't know what the answer is yet, and we can talk about this later, but through the town council, come up with a little bit of a study. I know the Planning and Zoning Commission and Chairman of the Zoning has all the facts, but we meet the state's regulations for affordable housing. They just don't allow us to include mobile home parks and multifamily houses, which is a shame, and a sham, I should say. So if we could do this, I think the time to start talking about it is now and not wait till next year when there is no governor's race and the legislature goes back in session and they start trying to ram this down our throats again. I think we should publicize how great we are in this community as far as our housing goes, and show that we have it all here, and let's be an example for the state of Connecticut as we move forward. And we won't have to, we always want to keep preserving open space, but we won't have to use it as a defense mechanism to Hartford, which is really a shame. So I'm happy to talk about it more. I know this is not the forum to do that, but I think we should really put together a committee that talks about it. We don't have to spend a lot of time. Zoning has all the facts, and let's publicize it so other communities can look to us. Like, everyone has to worry about themselves, we worry about our town, but let's make an example of it, and let's start talking about it so that other communities talk about it, and we don't have the state trying to shove it down our throats.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and for the extension.
Yep. Anybody else?
Regina Coviello, 12 Beecher Street. Wasn't planning on talking, but after our last speech, we do not have enough affordable housing in Southington. And affordable is a word people have to look at. It does not mean trash, garbage, which at our last meeting, a planning and zoning meeting, was said. Affordable is that average person being able to pay their bills and everything. And if we have enough housing, we do not have it for the elderly and disabled. If you talk to our housing authority Chair Kevin Myers, we have a list of 70-something. That was a couple months ago. I don't know if it's changed, but if there's a list of that long, and I said to him, how many? Maybe one a year. It is if when somebody passes away or has to go to a special home. Okay, we need to look at affordable at a different thing. We're not talking, talking mid-range. Okay, because people are losing their homes. All right, we need real affordable. And when we talk about affordable, we have people that work here, that travel here to eat at our restaurants, all this, but they can't afford to live here. It's okay for them to work here, but they can't live here. There are parents that their kids, I'm an example of this. My daughter, they were renting, the rent, they sold the place, okay? Can't afford, a single person can't afford an apartment. No single person can afford an apartment. In my days, you got an apartment for a house. Now, first-time homeowners might get a house before you can get an apartment. So we do need affordable housing, and I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Good evening.
I'm Caitlin Gelfand. I live at 51 Cloverdale Road in Southington. I started the Southington Chalk Walks. I heard someone brought our little group to the attention of the council recently, so I wanted to come and kind of fight back against the little bit of a negative spin we got at that time. I wanted to invite you all to join us. Come to one. See what it's all about. See for yourself how simple sidewalk chalk brings people together and starts important conversations. The country is a chaotic place now more than ever, and many people are afraid simply because of how they look, how or where they were born, or who they love. Our goal is to say the things that everyone deserves to hear. You are seen, you are heard, and you are welcome. With the exception of Jack Perry, no one on this council stood up for the kids who had to watch themselves be sandblasted off of a wall downtown. The chalk walks were born from the need to replace that message of diversity and acceptance, and to remind the children of Southington that we want all of them here, not just the ones that look like most of us in this room. As our numbers grew, so did our messaging, and an amazing community has started to build. come be a part of it. And, join our positive messaging to alleviate the optics of hiring someone immediately after they were fired for blatant public racism, or being seen as effectively banning the pride flag from town. So join us to build bridges, live up to our name as the City of Progress. I brought you invitations, and I brought you examples of things that we have previously chalked. Can I just give them to you?
Absolutely, just pass them down.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mary Peterman. I live at 71 Wilbur Street, Plantsville. In addition to being a retired special educator in town, I might be known better to you as the grass lady from the last blight ordinance meeting, the public hearing. I have attended numerous town council meetings, mostly concerning education funding, and often wondered why more people don't speak. And now I know. I got my answer. The public hearing part of the meeting allows people to speak. The council can ask questions, then the public hearing part is closed. The council members debate what is said, and then we are not allowed to contribute from that point on. It is intimidating standing up on camera in front of elected officials, the town manager, the town attorney, and you're an ordinary citizen pouring your heart out about a subject that involves the most valuable investment in your life besides your family, the value of your home. I clearly stated I was not an expert on the blight ordinance, and I was seeking more clarification. As former Chairperson Triano pointed out, we thought we were developing an ordinance that had more teeth than the last. So when I mentioned the lessening of certain levels, it was to make a point that any restrictions less than standard practice were not okay. I don't care how long the grass is. If it doesn't fit under a normal lawnmower, it's too long. And yet I was subjected to hearing the town lawyer say, well, the police officers don't want to get out and measure it. If you look at a lawn and you can tell that it won't fit under a lawnmower, it's a problem. I was not allowed to respond to that, and I went home and watched the rest of the meeting. And every time that the length of the grass was mentioned, there was laughs and chuckles, and I was embarrassed every time it came up. I wasn't on the committee that said, why don't you increase it to 12 inches? And I wouldn't have brought it up if it hadn't been in there. I now know why more people don't speak up, if that's the way that they're made to feel after. I also listened as the town attorney stated that the new ordinance would allow one unregistered car, because some people with classic cars unregister their cars for winter. Well, I'm an owner of a classic car, and I have numerous friends who own them as well. Not a single one of us unregisters their car for winter, because you're not able to insure them if you do. No one I know with a classic car is going to allow their car to not be insured. They may amend their insurance to fire and theft while it's stored for the winter, but they do not unregister their vehicle. Maybe he's aware of this practice. I am not. But I wasn't able to say that either. So I feel it's wrong that I wasn't able to directly respond to those points at the last meeting. Maybe there are some changes that could happen when a point seems to be misinterpreted. My point was that I have been and continue to be impacted by blight for so many years. I just wanted the strongest regulations allowed. Any step in the opposite direction was of concern to me, and I find nothing humorous about it. When a person reaches out to their elected officials as their only course of correcting a problem so near and dear to their heart, please listen for the whole point and not focus on 2 inches of grass. I just wanted to stop the 2 points where weaker restrictions were clearly being allowed. I do thank you for passing what you did, and I pray that it is enough to save the value of my home. Please feel free to visit my property anytime to see the filth, decay, and overgrowth that borders my property and negatively impacts my whole neighborhood. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Sorry you felt the way you did at the last meeting. And,
If you watch-
we appreciate the feedback.
If you watch the video, you can hear the laughs and chuckles. And I'm really glad that I didn't say to watch the end because I was frustrated not being able to respond when I heard those inconsistencies. But I did go home and watch the video, and my husband told me not to come tonight. He said, you're subjecting yourself to the same thing.
Well, we're glad you came.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Anybody else? Okay. Hearing none, we will close public communications and move on to item 10, old business. Item A, action on referral of 8-24 to planning and zoning for bond ordinances. Number one, ordinance appropriating $6,617,400 for costs related to repairs and replacements of roofs at Hatton Elementary School, William Strong Elementary School, and Reuben E. Thalberg Elementary School, and authorizing the issue of $6,617,400 bonds and notes to finance said appropriation.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on referring the 824 to planning and zoning for the school roofs. Any further discussion on that? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. And for those remote, we're going to call the roll.
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes.
Diedrich,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, the motion to send the 824 for the roofs to planning and zoning passes unanimously. Item 2 is the open space, and I'd like to just make sure, for the record, because it did come up, and I know we have had some lack of clarity in the past with this particular ordinance and development rights, et cetera. So I do want to just state that this, the ordinance that we received in our packets is available online. And the first paragraph does say that the town of Southington to appropriate $2 million for costs related to the acquisition of open space purposes of one or more parcels of land as yet undetermined. The appropriation may be spent for acquisition costs, development rights, easements, feasibility, and planning studies, appraisals, surveys, and testing, consulting fees, grant application and management costs, legal fees, net interest on borrowings, and other finance costs and other expenses related to the project. So I know that came up during public communications, and I know especially the development rights was a topic of discussion several years ago. And this bond ordinance does allow for purchases of development rights as well. Okay, so item 2 is the ordinance appropriating $2 million for acquisition of land for open space purposes and authorizing the issue of bonds and notes in the same amount to finance said appropriation.
Motion to send that to planning and zoning for an 8-24.
I'll second.
Thanks for the motion, a second for Mr. Palmieri. Any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes.
Diedrich,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, the motion passes unanimously. Item B, action on the referral of public hearing to the Board of Finance for the bond ordinances. 1, ordinance appropriating $6,617,400 for costs related to repairs and replacement of roofs at Hatton Elementary School, William Strong Elementary School, and Reuben E. Thalberg Elementary School, and authorizing the issuance of $6,617,400 in bonds, notes, and finance said appropriation.
Motion to propose a public hearing to the Board of Finance as outlined.
Thanks, Chris.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes.
Diedrich,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, motion passes unanimously to pass that to the Board of Finance for a public hearing. And item 2 for Board of Finance public hearing referral is Ordinance appropriating $2 million for acquisition of land for open space purposes and authorizing the issue of bonds and notes in the same amount to finance said appropriation.
I'll make a motion to send this to planning and zone, I'm sorry, for a public hearing for the Board of Finance for bond ordinances.
Thank you. Mike?
I'll second.
Chris is a second. Any discussion on the ordinance for the $2 million for open space public hearing to the Board of Finance referral? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes?
Dietzick,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, motion passes unanimously, and if it's okay for everybody, I won't read them again. It's item C, action on scheduling a public hearing for these same two bond ordinances. We're looking for a motion for the first one for the August 11th, 2025, 7 PM for the school roofs project, item one.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Del Santo and Mr. Palmieri on C1 for scheduling the public hearing August 11th, 2025, 7 PM here in the Municipal Center for the next town council meeting. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes?
Dietzick,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, motion passes unanimously. And then item 10C2, we're looking to schedule the open space ordinance for $2 million for town council public hearing on August 11th, 2025.
I'll make that
7
motion,
PM.
Mr. Chair.
Motion by Mike
I'll second.
and Chris. Any discussion? Okay, please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes?
Dietzick,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, motion passes unanimously to schedule that public hearing August 11th. Okay, item 10D, the action, we heard from the chiefs, the action on the SAFER grant, increased cost share.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Del Santo
Grant
made a
increase cost
motion.
share.
Second.
Okay, and Mr. Palmieri, so we have a motion and a second to increase the cost share on the SAFER grant, increased cost share that was presented a little bit earlier. Any discussion on that?
Yeah.
Tony, please.
Yeah, I have a concern with this, not because of, what it essentially we want to purchase, but essentially a budget issue. I mean, we went through a budget process where it was, to me, I think we were at the edge, the very edge of what we can afford. And our town budget in particular got cut, more for this current year than it has in previous years. The town manager did an excellent job of cutting costs, but we also went, close to, safety edges without going over it. So what concerns me is that's going to be the next couple of years. I mean, we know that, right? We all know that. We all know what the state is doing. They're offloading monies onto us. The federal government is doing it to the states, et cetera, et cetera. And we all know we're going to get surprises like last year, $800,000 disappeared, right, during the year. We got unfunded mandates, of course, from the states. We usually do. Early voting, the schools get their usual load. And it was it was a serious issue of budgeting, as far as I can see. Now we're looking at it's just been what are we 2 or 3 weeks into this new year, and we've got another surprise, okay? And it will probably be the first of many. And I would like to see us push back on those surprises, okay? And deal with the budget from a much more fiscally conservative point of view. Not saying there's anything wrong, again, with what we want to purchase. We will certainly spend, money on the fire department going forward. They got a 7% raise. We do that, okay? 7% raise going into this budget. We have an excellent fire department. It's in the top 13% of Connecticut fire departments according to, the codes from the ISO. So I think we should start to push back on things, and I'd like to see us push back on this.
Thank you, Tony. Anybody else? Chris?
I'm just surprised by that statement. I thought we were united, really, all 9 of us, in supporting this. And
Yes, we were.
Okay, so that's why I'm a little surprised to hear.
I said that. We were, yes.
Okay, so I'm surprised to hear this. We can't control what's handed down to us from the federal government, and unfortunately, the regulations changed for this grant, so I don't think the chief had any control over that, and there was no way to know. And I know the need is real in our fire department, so, we have to make some tough decisions, and I think this is a way to be fiscally responsible because we're able to add 3 firefighters still at a lesser cost than if we were to fund them outright in the budgeting process.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Jack?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so, the firefighter issue was brought up, to the council, the fire commission meeting, after the May Day call. So we know that there is a need for firefighters. We spent money on a survey that shows that. This is a grant to help offset that so that we could ease into the staffing levels that we should be at. This is not even like a drop in the bucket. I think we need somewhere around 20 firefighters to meet the standards that we should be, having based on the study that was done. So this is a step in the right direction, and it's a cost share that I think doesn't put the town at risk. And I do agree that we need to start looking at the bigger picture and trying to, prioritize things. But safety is not one of them that we can say we cut. I just can't stand behind a cut on safety. My family's in this town. I pay lots of taxes in this town, and I'm proud of our fire department and our police department that we have in our community. And I have to support them in any way that I can.
Okay, thank you, Jack.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please, Mike.
So I appreciate Tony's perspective. I always do. We often lean on people with a finance background to help us through these situations. I'm going to be in favor of this tonight because I am concerned about what may come in the future. And, I take some of what Jack is saying. Safety is very important for this town. But I also appreciate Tony highlighting that we have to be real careful. We have to be real careful. But if we're adding firefighters, if we're adding police officers, I don't think the residents of this town would mind if there was an increase in what they pay each year on taxes.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Vice Chair, sounds like you're up next.
I have to say that I agree with Tony also, and I think it's not that he's against this, but what he's saying is, we don't want to cut safety. We don't want to cut the Board of Ed. We don't want to cut the roads. But we have a fixed budget in this town, and we need to keep that in check. So it seems like Tony says, every time we think we have this thing nailed, unexpected things come up. We just want to make the public aware that we can't give to everything unless the taxes go up even higher. So already people are complaining about a 0.9 mil increase, and we could raise it to 3 mils, then what would happen? So again, I think we're in agreement. We want the firefighters. We are in favor of the grant. The government changed the terms of the grant. We don't like it, but we're going to continue to support it.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, I'd just like to end with one comment, because obviously it's getting late. If we're going to be serious about finance, about the budget, and we get challenges, and we'll get a lot of challenges this year, and also almost certainly the next year. When do we start getting serious about being fiscally responsible? Because we'll get a challenge, and each time we get a challenge, we'll say, "Oh no, we can't do that." For X reason. Oh, we can't do that for Y reason. Each time that's going to happen. I'm just saying, I think we should start to take a different attitude, which is, for the next couple of years, let's sort of say, okay, if we're going to have these surprises, then sometimes we have to say no. And I think this is one of the ones that we can start doing it.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Anybody else? All right. I think, just to wrap it up, when I look back and I reflect on the journey that we've been on with emergency services in the community. I think the council for the last handful of years has been resolute in standing behind our emergency services teams. And, I think the council, having spent a lot of time with both the police department and the fire department, talking with the chiefs, and it's clear that we run a lean operation. Even I had a discussion, we all saw this weekend the road takeover of the with the mopeds the last couple days. We have a very big we have a very large community, square mile wise, and when something like that happens, whether it's a fire or police, we are, we're challenged to get there, and police is the same. We have 6 units on duty at any given moment. When something like that happens, you need 6. To stop a road. When we have a fire and we're fully engulfed in a fire, we need the right number of personnel there. We've been on a journey of investing in staffing our fire department. That journey started a number of years ago when we started with the firehouse on the south side of town and the north side of town to try to beef up our full-time folks there. And nobody likes to have the increased costs. We don't like to have the playing field changed on us once we submit our budget. We all here are savvy at adapting, and I think we'll adapt as we go on this. I thank the chief for coming out and saying that he's going to try to absorb that. So hopefully it won't have a budget impact. If it does, then we'll figure it out. And so we stand behind our emergency responders. I respect everything that everybody here said. And I think this is one that, in my opinion, as a couple of you said, safety is paramount to a municipality, and providing that safety is super important. So, Madam Clerk, let's please call the roll.
Morrison,
No.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo,
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes?
Dietzick,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, the motion passes 8-1. Item 11, new business appointments. We have one senior citizen commission, which needs to be filled as a result of somebody moving out of town. That is one member, 3-year term expiring March 2028. That is, I think that's my appointment, council chair appointment. I'm gonna look to have a motion to table on that one until the next
Motion to
meeting.
table.
Second.
Okay,
Just point of order, do you need a motion to table if it's the chairman's appointment?
I'm not taking action on it,
Yeah, we
so.
don't have a
Okay.
name.
All in favor of the table?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Oh, sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Val and Jen, thank you so much for sticking out.